Hey guys, welcome back. Several years ago, when I was going through a little health journey, and I had some really, really crazy symptoms that kind of puzzled all the doctors I went to. And I tried everything from diets to supplements to you name it, I did it to try to alleviate my symptoms, to try to make them not quite so dramatic and scary. And I remember the more I tried to fix myself and try to fix my symptoms and try to restore my health, the worse everything seemed to get. And then thankfully, I started reading all kinds of different literature, everything from Buddhism to Christianity to Judaism to all kinds of different poetry from Rumi, I had never even things that had never crossed my path before. I just immersed myself in to see if I could find pointers, something new that I just had never heard of before. And the one thing that kind of permeated every single little thing I looked into was to trust whatever was arising, to be with, to welcome whatever was coming up in my little world of form, in my experience. All the fighting and the fixing and the figuring out and the trying, while it seemed so like the thing to do based on my cultural conditioning, it was the thing that kept it all in place, kept the patterns repeating. And it was when I began to learn to trust, deeply trust, that the things my mind called crashes and storms were not what I thought they were. I coined this phrase, trust the crashes. And I wrote about trusting the crashes prolifically in Amy Johnson's community. Trusting the crashes, for me, meaning trusting the outbreaks of really dramatic symptoms, trusting the moments when it looked like my health was actually getting worse. Trusting, and more trusting, which ultimately led to surrendering and welcoming. And miraculously, in that surrendering and welcoming and softening, the symptoms for the first time ever began to settle. But that was the booby prize. That was not the big golden ticket. That was not the great trophy of welcoming and surrendering. Yes, my health improved drastically. And yes, my symptoms all went away. But bigger than that, more awesome than that, I learned that my well being was not tied to my health. I learned that my peace and my joy and my happiness were not tied to anything in this world of form, because everything in this world of form, including this body, this amazing, awesome costume that I get to have this whole time on earth, is temporary. It's a blink of an eye, it's transient. And so my well being, my peace and my joy, my unconditional peace, love, cannot be dependent on a body, on health, on finances, on relationships, on anything in the world of form. And so earlier this week, I had sort of a storm, same thing as a crash, only I called it a storm. I woke up and everything just seemed like a mess. I just felt heavy and down. Everything looked upside down. I felt confused. I felt dejected, hopeless. And as the day wore on and those feelings of that storm persisted, there was suddenly a remembering. Trust the crashes. Trust the storm. Surrender to the storm. Don't fight it. Don't look for the escape hatch. Don't claw and scratch for that patch of sun. And in that remembering, I came down into my office and I always write these little note cards to myself so that in moments of confusion, when I find myself trying to get out of what experience is here, the note cards help me remember. And so these were the three that I pulled up. And I actually turned them, I used Canva and turned them into these little things I'm going to make stickers out of. So these are not the original note cards, but these are the three I pulled. And the first one says, "Where is God in this storm? Where is God in this storm?" That's not to answer. It's not to go searching. It's to actually fall away from the mind and the search and release whatever's going on. Where's God in this? And then leave it alone. Don't go looking for an answer. The second one I pulled out was, "This too shall pass. No storms last. Trust this crash. This too shall pass. No storms last. Trust this crash." And this one, which is one of my favorites. "What raw internal experience does my mind hate right now? That is the experience that is in greatest service of my waking up in this moment. I welcome it, even if my mind does not." What experience, what raw internal experience does my mind hate right now? What experience does my mind prefer would go away? Leave me alone. That's the experience that is most in service. I will welcome it, even as my mind resists and hates it. If you're in a storm right now, whatever that storm is, in your health and finances, in a relationship, your job, whatever it is in this world of form, trust the storm, trust the crashes. It's not at all what you think it is. I promise this too shall pass on its own without your assistance. But while it's here, what if it's optimal? What if it's actually part of the waking up, the seeing more and more of your true infinite self, to seeing more and more of the freedom and the peace that are your nature? I hope this helps. And I actually just wrote a blog with this same theme. So I'll put the link to the blog in the notes below, along with an invitation to join me on Thursdays for free office hours. Thanks, guys. Bye.